I've got a great demonstration for you now. This is going to be a sunset. And as you see, all I've got is a line. So we're going to develop it as we go along. Now, first of all, I'm going to put white over the whole of this, up to this line. There we are. That's all done. And now what we want to do now is to rub it in well into the paper. Like that. Now the top third, I'm going to use a blue. And because I've got quite a lot of white in there, this blue is going to have to be applied a couple of times. About, say, 1/3 of the way down. That's going to be rubbed with your finger. Use your finger. Better than blenders, really. Now we need to do that again because it's a sunset. We need to have it quite dark at the top. But as it comes down to there, we can ease off a little bit. So it's dark at the top and then just a bit weaker as we reach that third mark. And that's the first colour in. Secondly, we're going to use the yellow. Now this is yellow 106 in the faber-castell range, and this yellow goes all over now. I'll do this off camera. I'll just show you how it begins, like that, and we work all the way across there. And that's almost done. Now just ease off as you get to meet the blue, because when you put blue and yellow together, you end up with green. I can't avoid that totally, but right just at the top, you use your finger just to ease it into it. You can't help it be looking a little bit greeny. There we are. And then the rest of it can be blended. So there we are, that's 2 areas. Now just before we go on, I'm going to put a sun in. And we do need here just to relieve the pastel, rub the pastel out. All right, like that. And then we can put the sun in. Use the white pencil for this. That's going to look a lot brighter by the time I finish it. But now we've got the white in. Great. Okay. Now I'm going to use another colour now. And this is the orange. This is 109 in the range. As they all these colours I will give you anyway. And if you search the internet, you'll find the colours I'm using, plus the line drawing. There'll be a link below to this line drawing anyway. Now that's the orange gone in. Rub that in. The first one we just rub in. Then we do it again. But now this time we're going to assume that we're going to put some clouds in. That's what these are. A little bit darker here because we have the sun at this point, so we can afford to creep along with just a little bit more orange. And this side come in with the other side, but not quite so far. And again, like that. Doesn't look anything at the moment, but it will, folks. Now, if you've got one of these, use them. If not, you can use your finger. But these are colour shapers, and we find them very useful. It just isolates them. Otherwise, if you rub with your finger, you could tend to blend it too much. If you haven't got one of these, you can use your finger, but as you'll see, it looks nice, doesn't it? Now, next colour is going to be this one, which is 192, which is Indian red. Now this does make quite an appreciable difference, and here we can expand those clouds a little bit, make it a little bit stronger over there, and then weaken it. Same on the other side, like that. And the other thing you want to do here is just go around that sun again, just with your yellow, just make sure it's got a nice brightness to it. And you can also, I didn't blend these. Lightly blend them, don't rub them right in, because they look great if they're just smudged like that. Okay, and then you can also use the white again, just in give you a few little rays or sun like that coming up. Great. Now, what about some distant hills? Well, let's put some in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do two. I'm going to do one here. I'm going to use the orange. And one can stop about there. And into that, we can use a little bit of the red. I'm only using 6 pencils here. Now, normally I would use a lot more pencils, but to make it simple, we're just using the 6. That can be blended. And to make that stand out just a little more, what we can do is use the white pencil to go behind it, just to add a little bit of light. You can see how well that stands out. And that comes down to there. Now what I want to do now, this is going to be a waterline here, but what I want to do is put another hill over here with a lighthouse in it. And to do that, you really need to rub the pastel there out. So we'll do it from about here. We'll have a nice bit of open water there. And so if you haven't got one of these, you can use the other eraser, which I've got somewhere. Here we are. I'll use this for the moment. The pencil eraser gives you just a little bit more control. Now I also want to put a lighthouse in here. For this I'm going to use the other end of the pencil eraser, which is a little harder. A little bit there and a little bit there. Now watch this. I'm going to use the red again, but this is on just on top of raw paper. Oops. Like this. And what we want to do is to come down just slightly below that level. So just under the line that I put in. And it just makes this distant hill just a little bit nearer. I'll fill that in a minute, but what I wanted to show you really was this area here. That's the advantage of pencils. And then just at the top, just a little top knot. Don't have to be too fussy with this. We do with it just a bit sharper, Colin. If I hadn't broken that point, I would have had. And there we are. Okay, let me finish that off. Then I'll come back and I'll take you through the next stage, which will be to put a black on top of here. There we are. I took advantage of the break to sharpen my red pencil, which gave me just a little bit more detail. Now on top of the red, I'm going to put the black. I'll just do this lighthouse and then I'll do what I did before. I have to turn it round. It's a good idea to do this when you've got a tricky old area. Turn it round so that you get a better line. Something like that, and turn it around the other way. Now this time I'm going to put the black along here. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave it wanting a little bit just on that very edge. So we've got very dark here because we've got the sun, remember, on there. And what you can do then is you can put it in like that. You can also then bring back the red, having put the black in, and made it just a little bit more. There you go, you see? Yeah, you don't have to do that. And then we're going to carry on darkening all of this. I'll just do the first little bit. What I would do if you were doing this is to go along the outside edge on the red first. Try not to touch the sky with the black, because that will make it look a little bit odd. Okay, to do that. And then I'll show you how we can just make that a bit like that, with the light shining on it. Anyway, let me finish that off. And only this one, I don't do that one. Right, well that's all the black in. Now we can then go over the edges where the light source would have hit and lightened up. Just add a little bit of red, as we did on the lighthouse. And you can put this anywhere you want, even halfway down here if you want to. You see how nice that looks. I hope you can pick it up on the screen. Anyway, now there's a couple of little things I'm going to show you. First of all, in here we've got a light. Now you could rub it out, but it's better not to. Just put the light in there, and then use the white just to put a few rays coming out like this. There's one. We do two either side. There. And another one there. Great. Now that looks good. I'm going to put a little island in here, but before I do that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the yellow down. Yeah, you think, well, what about sun reflection? I'll show you that in a minute. Bring the yellow down right in the middle, like that. And then bring the orange here. You don't want too much, just a little bit, enough to give us the difference between one and t'other. Like that. And you could always put just a little bit of white, just as we did up here, on there. It just lightens it up just a little bit. There, so we get a nice line on that. And if you feel you want to, just use the red, just to bring just a little bit of texture back in here. Don't want to go overboard. Lovely. And now, I can now put a little island in here. It's just like you don't have to do this, folks. Just me showing off. And that little red, it's just a bit of this land that's, and we can, it looks good in a minute because I'm going to be showing how you work the reflections. I'm just thinking that I think I might actually use the yellow all over here, folks. Just thinking you really do need base colours, that's the thing. This yellow is a very good base colour. So although it looks weird, it's going to look okay when we finish it. So that's that. And now the orange. Let's put the orange in. Lovely. Great. Use your finger now, because with water it needs to be smooth. Okay, that's it. Well, now we've got that in, we can now bring the eraser back in and give us, rub out that, and that will give us our sun reflection. Now keep that in there, and then either side we then need dark. And we want to make it darker at the bottom and lighter as we come up towards the islands. A bit like the cloud when I was putting the cloud in. Now just there we want to come right up to the edge of the dark there, and then we can bring some red in. And then it's going to be brought in. I don't want too much up there, otherwise we're going to lose me oil, and I don't want to do that. You can put the yellow back in, you can put any other colours back in. I mean, this works quite well as a blender, as you can see. And then drag it across. Now I just happen to have this paper of mine with a tooth running across. And it's always a good idea if you can do that, because it gives you a little bit better effect, like that. Okay, now the thing is, if you rub that with your finger, it's all going to blend. So what I use is my colour shaper here, and just use that because it's a little less intense. There you go. Now, you're not going to get a lot better than that, but if you did want to put a little reflection, which we do, we can bring down that. We can now bring down, this is what I was talking about earlier, bring down that, and into that, rather than put the black, I put the blue. You can also put some blue in here as well, just to put a bit of weight on the bottom. Blend that in first, then blend this in. Now, having put the blue in, you've got to go over again with the red. And not forgetting a little light source. There you go. Now, that's a very quick demonstration, but very interesting, I think you'll find. Now, just finally go back over with the red, just giving yourself a little bit more depth there, a little bit more shadow. Now, interesting. I hope you've enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing you on the next stem. Bye for now.